recording. We do see the battle number 2 in this wonderful transition scene that we have. The Tapu Bullies versus the cross-branded Brawlers. Let's get into things here. Would you like to introduce the first team, the Tapu Bullies?
So we got the Tapu Bullies led by Zekrom365. They're doing super well this season at a 4-3. It's about even, but it's really nice to be even instead of negative. And they are playing for Doctors Without Borders. So
It
starting off
you.
with what happened?
Sorry, I'm responding to chat. It you.
Uh, Starting off with the OUs, we have our Ferrothorn, who's scarily tanky.
Scary.
And then they're 2-4, which is nice. I love Steel type, so it always makes me
Oh,
happy
for
seeing
sure.
it. And then the Hisuian Arcanine putting in all the work, being 12-5, definitely one to watch out for on this team.
Scary.
Um, with their UUs, they have Nidoking and Hawlucha, both of them putting in some work as well. Nidoking also being a very scary Pokemon to worry about. Moving on, we have the RUs, the Porygon Z, which is it it'll get there. I believe in it. It's also a scary Pokemon to worry about.
I'm
And
surprised it hasn't been brought more because it was brought once. It got one shot, then it hasn't been brought again. So like, Porygon Z, come back.
you got this, Porygon. I believe in you. You also have the Incineroar and the Reuniclus, both of them having at least one KO and have been brought and everything.
Reuniclus, chonky. It hecked me up. I was not ready
Yeah,
for that.
this team is so tanky,
Those
which is scary.
three, those three knockouts were against me. Ah.
Feel issue. And then moving on, you have the NUs. You have Starmie, Lurantis, and Scyther. All three of them have been brought at least once, and Lurantis has been the one that's gotten the KO. It's it's doing its job. It's doing good.
Oh
I
yeah.
believe in it. And then you have your PUs with Comfey, a very terrifying Pokemon that is always scary to think about.
I'm
It's
surprised it
got
hasn't
4 KOs.
bullied more.
Nice. And then you have Pikachu, which, Pikachu is great. Cofagrigus and Cherrim both haven't. They're both at 0. Again, I'm usually busy when the streams go on, so I don't really get to see them that often. So
I don't
I don't know
believe
if they've
they've
been
been
brought.
brought.
I
They've
hope to see
they've.
them though.
Oh, I do too. Like Cofagrigus at least is a really good just defensive mon. I don't know too much about Charon because it's not really a Pokemon that you see too often. Um, so I don't know. I don't know if Charon will be brought, but it would be pretty cool to see what this team can do with the Charon if it is brought. But yeah, Comfey, just poor Comfey, not able to do as much work as it should because Comfey has a potential to just pain.
I have a very it's a new hatred towards Comfey purely because of Pokemon Unite.
Oh.
Um, I love this Pokemon to death. It's a great Pokemon, but then that came out and I'm like, pain.
I mean, that's kind of how I feel. That's kind of how I feel about Chansey, because like, there's nothing wrong with Chansey. It's a good Pokemon, but I personally hate it because of my experiences shiny hunting and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Um, I would the amount of shiny Chansey I got that I broke my combos for in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was just ridiculous. So that's why I have a personal hatred towards Chansey. But yeah, no, I totally get it. But let's see their opponent for this week is the undefeated cross-branded Brawlers, led by Nahel, playing for the People in Need charity. 7-0, undefeated, and not just 7-0. They only have 5 feints to their name. So not only are they in the lead, but they're in a commanding lead right now. The Oyamans of this team with the Volcarona at 4-0 and the Hisuian Gudra at 9-1, leading this team in knockouts. That Gudra, just something that is really hard to counter with a really good Dragon Steel typing, and just really good defenses in general. That thing is a scary Pokemon. And same with Volcarona is just absolutely terrifying. Run it bulky, run it Quiver Dancy, and you're just pain. The Yu mods of this team with that Greninja and the Conkeldurr. Greninja, again, I don't think Greninja has been brought yet, which is kind of surprising because Greninja is such a great Pokemon. But looking at the rest of this lineup, this team hasn't needed it. The rest of this team has been doing fantastic. That they just don't need Greninja. Um, the argument of this team is that Golisopod. Again, I feel bad for Golisopod only being a 2-1. Because it has so much potential to do so much more, but it keeps getting burned. Sad. The other two Pokemon, the Weavile and the Galarian Weezing, each are at 5-0, doing just so much work for this team. Water's yummy. The Enneagrams of this team is a Mantine at 6-0. This is a Pokemon that I've been really surprised to see do really well. Because usually Mantine is not one to get knockouts. It's usually one to just be kind of annoying, be kind of stally. But the way this team has been running it, it's been getting the knockouts. It's been outspeeding, doing so much damage, and just surviving everything. So that's definitely a Pokemon to look out for. The Electros is at 1-0, and the Araquanid is at 0-1. The Araquanid, though, it might be at 0-1, but that is a Pokemon that was able to do its job really well. Get a Sticky Web set up and just ruin the rest of the game for the other team. That Sticky Web is such a good move to drop the speed immediately on Swiction. It's terrifying. But we see the PU mounts of this team with the Galvantula. It was brought once, but it didn't do anything. The Whimsicott is at 7-0. Again, another really underrated Pokemon that I wouldn't expect to get a lot of knockouts, but it has been. It's been doing so well here. The Galarian Corsola, the newly traded Galarian Corsola from the Masquerain, has not been brought yet, but we will see what happens in the next couple weeks. But we also see the Reneragus at 2-1. This team is looking to just keep smacking people. But we will see what happens in this next battle. Let's introduce the Pokemon of these two teams. No, let's introduce the lineup of the Pokemon we will see in these two teams in this battle. I don't know, words are hard. We just see from the Tapu Bullies, the Hisuian Arcanine coming back, that scary, just doggo, terrifying. We also see the Ferrothorn coming back with the Nidoking, that Comfey, the terrifying mons here, these four. We also see the Scyther coming back. I don't think the Scyther has been back since week 1, so it is good to see Scyther coming back, and the Lurantis coming back as well. A really good contrary setup Pokemon here. But the cross-branded Brawlers, another just chunky looking team. You see that Gliscopod. Of course Gliscopod is here. Gliscopod always has to be here. We also see the Galarian Weezing coming back with the Electros, and the Hisuian Goodra coming back. It has been a while since we've seen this chunky thing make an appearance. We see the Volcarona and the Galarian Corsola showing its face for the first time as well. What are your first thoughts of these lineups?
I see Galarian Corsola and it makes me happy.
Yes, Galarian Corsola. Another really underrated Pokemon. Eviolite that thing, and that thing is just...
I just love the design.
It is really good design too, and the backstory too is like great. Let's get started though. Let's push play on this battle. See the first Pokemon leading from these two teams in battle number 2, week 8. Let's go. The Tapu Bullies leading with the Scyther, no wings though, nice nickname, with the Volcarona Karna. The Volcarona immediately switches into that Galarian Corsola, who does not have a name, with a dual wing beat coming through from the Scyther. And the Swords Dance then being set up now. But the Straight Sap from the Galarian Corsola just to knock down that attack by just a stage. But another Swords Dance is set up though. But the Reflect being set up from this Corsola, and the Baton Pass from the Scyther into the Hisuian Arcanine. This is Arcanine having 2.5 times attack, but the Scald doing so much damage. The Flare Blitz, though, is not able to take down the Corsola. The Corsola able to just go for another Scald and just knock out the threat of that Arcanine just so easily. Ferrothorn coming in to replace it with another Strength Sap coming through, dropping the attack. Not really doing too much for the attack, but getting the Corsola up to full HP again. The light screen then being set up from the Corsola. Both screens on the field from the Brawlers, with the League Seed coming through from the Ferrothorn. Doing a little bit of chip damage now with the Reflect wearing off. The immediate switch into the boost. I love it. Zekrom, you're amazing. Lurantis coming through. Corsola then getting scared out, going into the Volcarona. The Volcarona going for heavy duty boots, and a quad resisted Leaf Storm. Of course, going to get the 2 times attack boost. But the Quiver Dance coming through from the Volcarona. But the Hidden Power doing a lot of damage, but not quite knocking it out. The Fiery Dance, though, is able to just munch out this Lurantis. and this Volcarona in a really terrifying position right now. Scyther then coming back, but another Fiery Dance is able to just delete it. It's gone. It's gone. Nidoking comes in, a hidden power, not knocking out the Nidoking, living on 1 HP, but the Earth power doesn't knock out the Volcarona either. The Nidoking switching out into that Comfey, and the hidden power doing some pretty decent damage, but not enough. The Volcarona then switching out into that Galarian Weezing. Interesting, the ability shield from the Comfey to make sure that Tri-Age still is going to work. The Weezing switching out into the Hisuian Gudra. And then the Comfey switching out into that Ferrothorn. The Flash Cannon, of course, being a resisted hit, not doing too much damage, with the Shelter then being set up from this Gudra, with the Leech Seed then coming through from the Ferrothorn to put a little bit of chip damage onto this. But the Body Press is super effective hit, doing some good damage, but not too much. Iron Barbs and Rocky Helmet doing some good damage. With the Endeavor, that's a fun play. Endeavor on a Ferrothorn, that's really cool. And a Protect coming through from this Ferrothorn, with another Shelter, though, being set up. Will the Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin damage be enough to take down the Gudra? It is! The Ferrothorn falling, but of course the Gudra falling to the Rocky Helmet and Iron Barbs. I keep saying Iron Thorns. The Electros coming in, with Nidoking then coming back out. And the Sludge Wave not doing too much damage. This Electros able to just U-turn, finish off the Nidoking with just this Comfey left to fare against this honestly really terrifying team. Can the Comfey do it? I believe. I believe in the Comfey. The Calm Mind being set up, with a Clear Smog being used right after to clear that Calm Mind right away. Going for the Draining Kiss then, starting to try to get that HP back. Another Clear Smog doing some pretty good damage. Another Draining Kiss though. Is it enough though? I think the Clear Smog is doing just that much more damage. Is the Comfey able to stall enough? Clear Smog coming through. It is not. The Comfey falling to the Galarian Weezing. The cross-branded Brawlers continuing their streak of just pain. Though the Tapu Bullies having a really good showing this week, just unfortunately just not able to get past this just powerhouse of a team here. What do you think of that battle?
Honestly, with them only having 5 KOs to their name, just getting a single KO is an achievement. So, like, bravo Seriously. To you.
Yeah, like, at this point, like, I don't think we're going for wins against this team. We're going for knockouts. Like,
we're playing for second.
Yeah, pretty much. Really good showing. Good games to these two teams. The streak of pain, exactly. Just the streak of pain continuing.